are your prime directives? It's good.
What's up, all you beautiful people? This is Broda. We're back with some more thrift runs. Today we're at a thrift store about 30 minutes away from me, and it's one I don't like going to very often because despite the fact that they have a lot of product up on the shelf, their prices are all over the place, and I rarely find anything worth reselling. I did manage to find one good tie, so I'm kind of casually looking through the rest of the ties, and here's me going through the shoes now. I didn't find any decent shoes. A lot of them are, again, very overpriced. There are some things this thrift store prices very well, but when it comes to shoes, they love to hike them up to around like 10, 16, 20 bucks, and that's kind of outrageous for me. That one was $22.95. I don't mind paying up for shoes if it's worth it, but in a lot of cases, especially like this store, it isn't. This one has a pretty massive Christmas selection, and there's a lot of stores, thrift stores out there that are keeping their Christmas area going all year long. It's just something that just keeps coming in and people keep donating. I didn't see anything really valuable like blow-ups or vintage ornaments or Department 56 stuff. It's just a lot of generic, things. Now, if you're doing reselling, Christmas is something that can be worth picking up to resell all year round, even in July, just because it's something that people really like. People love that time of season. Here's me going through the hats. I don't see anything particularly valuable. No sports caps, nothing like that. But I did find this Psycho Bunny tie, and I can definitely flip that. I'm only paying $2 for it. As a general note, if you ever see Psycho Bunny in a thrift store and you're a reseller, pick it up. Every single time, unless they got major damage or something on it, it's always worth it. Polo Ralph Lauren ties are also something that's worth picking up too, but I rarely see any good ties, period. It's always just a bunch of garbage. And here we are at another thrift store. I found these glasses. Unfortunately, they're not worth reselling, but they're really cool. I love the frosted Coca-Cola design, and this is a McDonald's 1981 Muppets glass. Again, not worth very much, but very cool. As I was going through the glass section, I happened to find these empty perfume bottles. Now, some of these can be worth selling on eBay, believe it or not. I checked the Versace, I checked the Gucci one. The Gucci one I thought would actually be a decent seller as an empty bottle, but apparently it isn't. I scanned through every single one of these. They're only $2 or $3 a piece, and I didn't find anything great, unfortunately. I like going through the mugs at stores from time to time, looking for stuff like Fire King and certain vintage mugs, but I don't really find anything great that often. People just really tend to pick through those, especially like older ladies. And we're going past some collectible plates and other figurines. A lot of those, especially collectible plates, aren't worth a damn thing. If it's made to be collectible, it's almost never worth it. Sometimes candles, certain types of candles, if they're discontinued, can sell for big money on eBay. People get attached to certain types of candles, and then once they get discontinued, the only option is to go on eBay and pay a marked up price. It is what it is sometimes. Now, I was really disappointed with this. I found a bunch of these vintage model sets, including this Lunar Apollo module, and I thought they had to be worth something good. They were only $5 a piece, but in reality, the sell-through rate was abysmal, and they just don't sell for that much, so it was not worth picking up at all. I was really surprised the Harley Davidson one wasn't worth anything, but yeah, there's another one. Those are little French soldiers, I think. But yeah, I was surprised the Harley Davidson one wasn't worth that much, but that's how it goes sometimes. Just because something is vintage and it, is new and complete in a box, sometimes that doesn't mean it's actually worth anything. And we're walking by a ton more Christmas stuff again. This thrift store in particular doesn't really put too many hard goods up. Oh, this is something else that's new in the box. It's a Y2K Beat blender. I barely remember seeing these. This is something else that, despite being new and 20 years old, isn't worth a damn thing on eBay, and it doesn't sell very much at all. More vintage board games I won't be picking up because it's just not worth it. This is Scrabble for Juniors. It is the 1968 edition. This was before it was bought by, I thought this Wilson's tabletop tennis was going to be worth something because it's vintage and it was complete in a box, but my mistake on that, it wasn't. Numbers Land Counting Game 1973, also not worth anything. Neither is the Chess for Juniors. The Risk game right there might have been worth reselling, but I would have to make sure every single piece is inside there. This is a Woody doll. It's complete in the box. It doesn't sell for that much, unfortunately, but it was only 10 bucks. I'm sure somebody at the thrift store will like picking that up. AAA sometimes can be worth picking up if it's certain versions of it. That was one of the bad versions. This is a vintage doll from Kamar, and I would have picked this up if it wasn't for that giant hole there. That's like vintage 1950s. At this thrift store, shoes were half off today, and I didn't really find too many good things, but I did find something. This John Deere cup and this Garfield 1978 McDonald's cup. I may actually put that in my 80s room. And we got some Hokas. This is a thrift store I don't like going to very often because they love to bring out nothing but glassware. Those are Ray Dunn mugs. Some of them can be worth something, but it's very, very seldom. A lot of them are just shovelware. Going back through glasses again, nothing particularly valuable like Pizza Hut restaurant cups or anything vintage. Those big steins are pretty cool, and so was this Nova Scotia shot glass. Sometimes if you can lot a bunch of vintage shot glasses together, that can be worth it. I just hate shipping glass in general. This said made in USA, and I thought it might have been worth something, but when I used Google Lens, nothing came up for it. That might have been a mistake, though. Anyways, let's go back home and go through the haul today. We are in the arcade room today. I got a lot of stuff I picked up from Goodwill, and we're about to go through it. These are American Girl doll stands, and I only paid $1.99 for each of them. Believe it or not, these are actually worth some really good money. I've seen them sell anywhere between 15 to 20 bucks online per one. For the record, I recommend if you see American Girl and you're a reseller, pick it up because it's almost always worth something, no matter what it is. 511 Tactical, another bread and butter brand. I don't know if these are the Strike series or not. I can't ever remember which ones are Strike or not, but usually when I see 511 Tactical cargo pants like this, I always like to pick them up. This is on smaller size, so I might have to wait a little bit on selling them, but they almost always sell within a month for around like 20 to 25 bucks. Sometimes the Strike series ones will sell anywhere from 30 to 35. Rock Revival Robert jeans. Yeah, these are cut-off jeans, and almost anything Rock Revival tends to sell. Some thrift stores have started catching on that Rock Revival is like kind of a higher-end brand, but most of them haven't. I only paid $4.99 for this one. And usually the jeans, the full jeans, tend to sell a little bit better, but I still should be able to get somewhere around like 25 to 30 bucks for these. It does depend on the model though. I'm not familiar with how the Robert style does. Really awesome vintage score here. This is a Nutmeg Mills tag made in the USA, vintage 1991 Chicago White Sox t-shirt. $3.99 for this, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to end up getting for this. I haven't looked it up yet, but I do know in general Nutmeg Mills stuff does sell, especially the hats. Some of the hats go for insane money, but the shirts, I don't know. We'll have to see. Like I said, we're in baseball season. Another vintage 1993 Pittsburgh Pirates shirt. It isn't Nutmeg Mills, but it is still made in the USA, which is another good sign. Made in USA and vintage doesn't always mean it's valuable, but it does tend to be a good sign, as I said. Vintage Cheers Boston 1992 t-shirt. Made in the USA, again, paid only $3.99 for it. I actually looked this one up, and it looks like it doesn't go for as much as I thought it did. Some variants of the Cheers Boston shirts around this era do go for some good money, but this wasn't one of them, apparently. I'll still make a profit on it, nonetheless. Polo Ralph Lauren cargo shorts, and not just any cargo shorts. This is the military surplus line. I got kind of lucky with this one because my Goodwills always love to price up Polo Ralph Lauren no matter what it is. Now, Polo Ralph Lauren can be pretty good, but it does depend on what you pick up. Some stuff is just, not that great, but anything that says military surplus is worth looking up. These are Ultra Rivieras. That's Ultra with an A. $8.99, but today was half off day over at Goodwill. If you're not familiar with this brand, you need to be on the lookout for it if you do resales. Some of these shoes can sell from like 30 to 40, sometimes even 50 or 60 bucks pre-owned. These will probably need to go in the washer and the dryer for a bit, but I still think they'll come out okay. They don't look in bad condition at all. I really thought I got lucky with these, but it was just too good to be true. These are the Adidas Chewbaccas. From what I understand, sometime around like 2016 to 2018, Adidas and Star Wars did some kind of collaboration piece where they did a bunch of themed shoes and some clothing, and this was one of the results. Now, at first I was pretty happy to see these because these resell anywhere between like $60 upwards to $90 pre-owned. But then when I got home and I took a closer look at them, I realized somebody cut the tongues up here, and it was really hard for me to tell with all the fur in the way and stuff, because I've seen a lot of shoes, where they pack the tongues down like that, and primarily when I'm looking at shoes, I'm looking at, the bottom of the heels and the backs and stuff like that, because that's usually where the damage is. I never expected anybody to actually cut the tongues out. Still, I got a bedroom full of Star Wars stuff and collectibles. I'll probably just throw this in there up on a shelf or something like that. They're cool. I don't think I'll wear anything like this. It's a little too weird for me. Disney Store 60th Anniversary Sleeping Beauty Handbag. Only paid $5 for this, and like I said, looks like the retail price is about $40. I'll probably get between $20 to $25 for it. I don't see very many comps or people selling this online. Cards Against Humanity Green Box Expansion. If you're not familiar with Cards Against Humanity on eBay, don't sell it there, because they'll come over, the company that owns the game will come over and try to claim that your listing is a counterfeit. Some companies out there really don't like resellers, even if you're just like a mom that's just trying to clear out your closet or something like that. That said, I'll probably have to sell it at someplace like Poshmark or Mercari, because they don't go on those sites and pull that kind of BS. For some reason, they love to hang around eBay and Amazon and do that kind of crap. Hoka One Ones. I love finding these shoes because Goodwill and these thrift stores almost never price them up. They'll go after Nike and all the other brands, but they'll leave this one alone, and I hope they keep doing that. These are in pretty good condition, and I paid $8.99 for them, but it was half off, so again, I didn't pay the full price. But I expect to get somewhere between $30 to $50 for these used. It does depend on the model, and like I said, I haven't looked up the model yet. Bug Assault. I managed to find one of these new in the box. If you're not familiar with this brand, it's a gun that you load it up with salt, and it's designed for like killing flies and mosquitoes and the little annoying gnats and stuff that come inside of your house. This sells between $35 to $40 by itself, but I might keep this one because I live in the South and we're going to be dealing with all kinds of fun pests coming inside. Bop It. This is something you need to be on the lookout for, but not so much the contemporary ones. You want to look for vintage. This is Bop It Extreme. They don't make this one anymore, and used, this can sell on Amazon for up to like $40 to upwards of $60. As a wrap from me, I am about to go and play some video games. Peace!